As I brought up the weather briefly earlier today, I'm a little bit worried because it's actually getting really stormy and kind of looks like thunder might be coming. So I don't know if I'm going to lose power at some point today. So this is pretty sick that this is timing out the way it is. But ladies and gentlemen, it's the last map, the last match of the group. It's the last Korean group you're going to see for some time because we got several European and North American groups and one wildcard group to go through. If you didn't see the announcement of those groups, check them out on Team Liquid in the main thread. But the wildcard group's kind of interesting because we resurrected one user from each region. So we had Ghost user from North America, we had Maro from Europe, and Solar from Korea. And of course, Crank earned his spot in that group too. So the wildcard group is probably my next favorite to look forward to, but lots of good stuff coming up over the next week. Make sure to check it out. But spawning here in the lower central portion of merry-go-round with the sickest hold, it is Samsung Galaxy Stork.
Neighbor left as the purple Protoss. It's Yoi Flash Wolves parting.
Man, this is just the groups for the tournament too. Let's not forget, unlike most tournaments, the round of 16 doesn't feed into groups. Our groups feed into the round of 16. And the way we plan to do the draw for that is we're going to be having the winners against the losers in a random draw. So kind of the names from the hat thing we've seen in the past. And once we finish our very last groups, then we're going to have a bit of fun with that. As it's always the... in my opinion, the most fun part of all this. But again, the round of 16 dates are tentative right now. I believe I've got it set to the, I want to say the 27th off the top of my head, but that may move because there's several tournaments coming up with Take TV, Against the Odds. We got the qualifiers for Home Story Cup, and of course BlizzCon and players moving out to MSI to fly to Taiwan. We're going to make sure we accommodate everybody's scheduling, but as of this moment, it's the 27th. However, that won't be permanent until all the groups are completed. So do keep in touch on the Team Liquid thread. It's the best way to know what's going on with this tournament. But, yeah, we got not cheesy openings so far. Woo!
Oh, so far. They could, you know, they both have 3 and 3 in gas, I believe. Can maybe throw down something. Yep.
Well, merry-go-round's an interesting one for PvP, because this is one where you can definitely use air. I've certainly seen my fair share of Phoenix fights on this one, Phoenix vs. Phoenix, or Double Strike at Oracle openers. I mean, there's a lot of different ways this one could play out, but Stork does hide a pile enough to the left side of the map, and for someone who's been willing to go Dark Templar, like in that old-school Protoss build, I'm really curious what he does on this one, the final map.
Yeah. Parting invests into a Sentry, so maybe going for that expansion build that worked out so well in that first game. Stork, I feel like, you know, that DT rush obviously didn't work out so well, but it was the consistent committal to DTs that really brought him even farther behind in that game. But it's actually Parting who puts down the Twilight Council first.
Yeah, I mean, the Twilight Council, again, this might lead to DTs, it might lead to something cheesy, but whereas Blink is horrible in the late game for PvP, it's really good against just generally everything in the early game. So going for a Twilight Council opening, if it is Blink, it's not bad. It's kind of safe, actually. But this is bold. Start going for the Nexus as early as he is. Yikes.
Well, that worked out for Parting in the first game, right? That's what I thought Parting was going to do. But Stork's the one that does it, and it's kind of a role reversal. Hey, look at that. Well, this means that now Stork is getting the better end of the deal, right? Almost the exact same thing is going to happen. Parting's going to warp in, there's going to be an observer, and he's going to be, you know, a little behind. He's going to have to find some way to come back into it, whether that's more dedication to DTs or, you know, just trying to macro out of it.
Basically, can he do in this game what Stork couldn't do in the first game?
Exactly. I don't know, man. I don't know. You would, I don't think he had a scout on the Nexus, so he doesn't really know it's pretty much the same exact deal. Because if he did, I feel like he would be like, okay, well, what was I afraid of when Stork was doing it? And let's see if I can do that, I suppose. But he has no idea that's the case, so he might just... Well, this fake Oracle's a cool idea.
I need to just go give people my Team Liquid information. So they can keep logging us in. I guess we got knocked off like half an hour ago. Oops.
We did?
Yeah, I got a tweet from like 30 minutes ago saying you're not listening to you.
I've been checking pretty religiously and I've seen it always on.
Oh, well, it's fixed now. Oops. Oops, oops.
Oh. Okay.
But okay, so the Nexus comes down for Parting. One of the big things, of course, with his Phoenix Scout, got a pretty good eye on what was going on, but most importantly, he saw the Robo coming down. So this right now is like, okay, does this mean DTs can no longer be used? Not at all, but it means you're not going to waste them the way we saw Stork kind of do. Not to, I mean, it's not being overly critical. He did waste all his DTs.
Parting canceled the Dark Shrine.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't even catch that. Nice.
Yeah. Neither did I. I was wondering where the DT's coming in, and then I saw. So You know, he's a little behind on the build order. It is coming down to the same type of build. You know, they both have a robotics ability. They both have a forge. It's just that parting is a little farther behind on it.
Yeah, but PvP, the way it works really nicely is, well, Defender's Advantage kind of gets overlooked because, of course, you got warping mechanics. It can certainly come into favor where you're fighting at the top of your ramp or you force your opponent to come fight within your overcharge, things like this. So, I mean, a little behind doesn't mean out of the game is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you can see, I mean...
Oh, actually kills the... I don't know if the overcharge was necessary with the Stalker, but doesn't want something scouted. I guess it's the Templar Archives. Yeah, we start...
Like
There's storm drops before? Maybe again?
Yeah, I guess so. Again, they mostly just mirrored each other's builds after that initial Dark Shrine. I mean, that's why the council's finally starting to get finished up for Stork. Here's where Parting does find the difference in that Templar Archives, but as long... Oh, actually, the Suicide Things might just scout it. Now that, I think Stork will remember the Storm drops of the first game. If he does scout it, which he doesn't, so never mind. He can still get Storm.
He's really trying to make sure this doesn't get revealed. I mean, like, a Templar Archives itself is not that crazy because you're going to have Archons at some point anyways. That's what you're expecting, but I guess Parting going for these special tactics again, I won't miss him this time, that's for sure.
Yeah, you pay attention, man. I was wondering if he was going to go for something with 2-base all-in as well. He throws it, you know, 3 more gateways, which isn't that telling. I mean, he does need the higher production, but maybe if he sees an opportunity, like Stork takes a too greedy of a third, he'll try to do so.
Well, the Observer getting a nice scout of Stork's base, actually. He's going to see everything. Oh, he's going to see the gateway times, too. Oh, he just moves up a little bit. Oh, it's like J-Dog's Overlord. Okay, there we go.
Not that big of a deal. It is the same gateways as Parting threw down, right? Like 3.
Yeah, but I think it's critical that you actually scout it and confirm it, though. And think your opponent's on like 2 gateways this whole time. You know, well, obviously not 2, but Oracle comes in as a kind of a red herring, I feel, trying to distract us, but the Observer's going to get revealed either way. He's going to see his opponent's Templar Archives, but he's also going to see it's not researching, because who the hell goes for Storm other than Parting?
Yeah. Parting does take that third, by the way. We have that War Prism on the way. I'm just saying. There's nothing in it, though. Which is kind
is he just going to warp in Zealots first, I guess? Or
only 2 Zealots isn't that scary.
Yeah,
I mean, it was on Rally. It's like, oh, that was bad. That was bad. It was on Rally. It was supposed to pick that up before it went in.
The probe, I think, just scouted this, too. I'm not sure if it did. So there could be some freebies over here. He's going to pick it up either way.
Stork, please tell me you noticed that.
I don't know.
Stork, please.
I don't know. He's coming to the main.
Oh, my God. Well, boom.
Oh, man.
They tried to run out of the second storm back into the first one.
They juked and jived in the wrong direction. But while this gets him 11 kills, and that's really cool, Stork's got a big army barreling at his doorstep. Force Fields won't stop this because there's Archons to break it. He cancels the third straight up. That's a great choice.
Yeah.
No way he was holding on to that. And, well, actually, with the storms coming back home, might help a little bit. Again, the AoE itself is not that great because it's a damage over time effect, but on top of slower units like the Immortals, it does pierce through the hardened shield effect and will take them down very quickly.
Stork doesn't have a lead in army supply, though. So with the cannon, with a time warp, with reinforcements, Parting will always hold this, right? Like, Stork, I feel like he's just like... He canceled the Nexus, just make your own Nexus at home. Repair the damage jump of the Storm drops, so just use this as an opportunity to get ahead in a macro game.
Yeah, the Observer here is giving a lot of vision too. I'm surprised Parting, who's pretty good at sniping off the Observers, actually doesn't see this one. I wonder if you could do a trick where like you attack a Zealot with an Archon and splash damage would hit the Observer. Maybe. Okay, he's gonna see it.
Or that happens.
Nice snipe. Hallucinations on the front lines too. Beautiful choice, but they are revealed through this Observer. Storms as he kites through it. Time warp as the Storms get on top of this. Templar retreating to the high ground. There's a couple more Storms left as he blankets the army. Let's see if this is going to be enough because the army supplies are relatively close. That Warp Prism is going to help out a ton of the Photon Overcharge. Is doing what it can, but the probes being pulled to the back end of this. On top of the Immortals, 2 of them still standing. Oh man. That one Immortal might just be what makes the difference in this game, but the Archons are not going to take a lot of damage from it. This Hallucinations and a full surround. Those probes are kind of the unsung heroes of that fight. The Militia were called, and is this human in Warcraft 3?
I was so afraid one of those Archons from Stork was going to blast off on those probes and just take them down to like, 20 instantly or something like that, but oh, they were so lucky. And Stork, it was such a brave push in. Again, like their army was so even. The Storms were there, the cannon was there, and he still made it almost work, honestly.
Now the question, of course, is Stork out of the game? You know, he lost his whole army. Remaxing isn't going to be quick. And he's certainly going to have that slower tech units like those Archons and like those Immortals, but at the same time too, Parting no longer has Storms. He doesn't have any cool like gotcha moves. He's just got a pretty standard army.
Yeah, so Stork is now ahead in probes, but a little behind the same, pretty much the same number in army supply. The upgrades are perfectly even. I think things have equalized right now. An Archon Zealot drop is coming, but the army's right there, so it's probably not even worth it.
Yeah, he just missed it right away. Nope. But that's the thing for Stork. Look at all these Zealots. There's actually no anti-air. He could actually run around with this Warp Prism because there's no Stalkers. And let's be honest, at this stage of the game, you really don't want Stalkers.
Yeah. But now it's just getting weird, man. They're like perfectly even again. So it's back to who takes a third first and who, doesn't want to take a third and wants all in again.
This really reminds me of, again, I keep referencing this back, because San is one of the few players I see regularly try and make a PvP work without Colossus. And, I don't know, Seed I think is the only person who was able to match him for the most part, but every time we see this, like, Colossus just seems to be able to win the game. They're too good. The range is too crazy. The damage they do is too great. I'm surprised we don't see anyone like going for them like at all. No tech for it whatsoever. If
either one had gotten a third base, they would have started.
Maybe.
But it was so tight. It was so tight, versus the same exact composition that to actually like hold up on your gas production to get that
minerals
Colossus.
And the gas.
Yeah, that would have taken maybe too long, Stork might have actually had the perfect timing had that been the case, but I think soon, as they both seem to be... No, never mind, the same deal. Parting's one that expands first, and Stork's like, I don't want to expand, I want to just attack. Same exact deal.
I kind of feel like this time, though, Parting's biggest advantage, those storms blanketed so much damage. He's got them again. There's not going to be time warps this time that were so nicely placed as before, but I kind of almost just want to see a feedback on the Mothership Core more. Storm drops, though, in here, just waiting to get unloaded. So many Templar play for Parting. Actually turns them into Archons. Never mind. But 4 available. Storms to the top of this ramp. The Zealots taking a lot of damage. Might not seem like a lot, but just a little bit is all he's going to need to get an edgeway in this battle. Archons at the back, and the Archons can't get involved with the fight. The range is too big, and the Parting is demolishing this.
God.
It's not even close.
Oh, man. That wasn't close at all.
Oh, my God. Parting is going to do it. He's got so much more army supply. This time he can push. GG. Parting will be your second player into the round of 16, joining Departure. This makes me a little bit bummed.